the SalesSheros podcast, where we celebrate the unstoppable force of women in sales. We're thrilled to have you join us on another empowering episode. I'm LaDonna Hale, and I'm so excited to be here alongside my extraordinary co-host, Angie Gonsalez. Today, we're focusing on the heart of what makes sales truly remarkable, building rapport and trust. How was your weekend?
Hey, hi, how's it going? My week was okay. We ended quarter end, finally ended the first quarter of the year. I cannot say I was as successful as I would have liked to have been, but I've got a lot of irons in the fire for later in the year, so I'm feeling pumped about that. But I'm super jazzed to be talking about building rapport and trust because this is literally at the heart of everything that we do. And I think in sales, building rapport and having trust is kind of like an oxymoron. There's so many people that are not trustworthy in sales, right? Yes. So I'm super jazzed to be talking about this.
Yeah, I love it. Me too. We chose this topic of building rapport and trust because it establishes a personal connection between a salesperson and their client, helps build confidence and credibility in the sales process. It can facilitate smoother communication and negotiation. I love that, smoother.
It can be a little rocky when you're doing negotiations.
Yes, totally. Which leads to long-term client relationships and loyalty, and it will enhance the likelihood of being able to close deals and generate referrals.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, I think when we talk about building rapport and trust, we should talk about two different things. One, we should talk about internal, like the impact it has internally. And what I mean by internally is those that are currently in your company, in your circle, working with you today. But then I also think that we should talk about the elements and the impact that building rapport and trust has externally. And what I mean by externally is like our customers, business partners, and prospects, because I think those relationships are different, and how we handle internal building rapport and trust is a lot different than how we handle customers and business partners. So internally and externally. So from an internal relationship, that team cohesion is important. Rapport and trust among the team members fosters collaboration, teamwork, and supportive environment. Another reason why we want to work on that is morale boosting. Confidence and credibility within a team lead to higher morale, job satisfaction, and motivation. And I've seen this big time on the tech side. Effective communication. Smooth communication and negotiating skills improve internal interactions with problem solving and decision making within our own team when we're trying to get processes completed. Mm-hmm. On the external side of the external relationship, it's really important. Client loyalty. This is why it's important to have rapport and trust, is that loyalty, your personal connections and credibility with clients to enhance trust and loyalty will lead to long-term relationships and repeat business, which ultimately is what we all want. With the reputation building, it'll provide positive interactions based on trust and rapport that contribute to favorable reputation, attracting new clients and opportunities. So ultimately leading in business growth, right? Satisfied clients are more likely to refer others and continue doing business with you, driving revenue and growth and expansion. So I wanted to just break out that internal and external.
Yeah, I love that. Here are a few things that can help you. Again, I'm getting my notes up here so I don't get all over the place.
I love all the people that don't see us on the camera. Yeah, they're just driving going, what are they doing? Like, what's happening over there? Occasionally they should watch us because we're definitely a hoot sometimes.
Yeah,
I think we should do a bloopers reel of all the noises that we make before we get started.
Seriously.
Anyways, let's get back to building trust and rapport.
A few things that can help build trust and rapport internally. So speaking on that internal that Angie just referenced, it establishes open channels of communication within your team where members feel comfortable sharing ideas, concerns, and feedback. This transparency fosters trust and collaboration, enabling your team to work more effectively together. Highlighting the importance of trust in achieving collective sales goals. What is the big goal of the team? I'm going to say this to the managers that are out there. If you don't get buy-in about the big goal, what are the individual goals matter to the organization? I mean, I know why they matter to me. my own personal goals. But when you are a manager, when you get buy-in from your team because you have a big, audacious goal to achieve, we want to be a part of that. We want to help you, especially when we really care about our management team, which we should, right? We
Right.
should, or we
Agreed.
probably
Yeah.
shouldn't be where we are.
Right.
We want to buy into your big goal, to the company's big goal, the overarching goal, right? The better my company does, the more I'm taken care of. The more I'm taken
Right.
care of, the more I can take care of my clients, right?
Right.
Like,
And you know
I
what?
mean,
I've seen sales teams in the course of my many, many years in tech sales. I have seen people strategically not be successful so that the leader fails. Like I've witnessed this. And I'm always shocked. Like you don't want to make money just because you're pissed off at that leader because of X, Y, and Z. So it's definitely important, I think, for leaders to again, shifting the mindset and behavior in the corporate world that we're in, I think that that's very important.
yeah, because often leadership leaves that out. They come up
Mm-hmm.
with a personal plan for a territory to hit the larger overreaching goal of the organization without any buy-in from the sales team as to that big goal, the big reason. I think that's
Yeah.
really powerful and really important, and it often gets very overlooked. Regular team building activities. I love this one because I love to do team building activities. I think it's super fun. And Angie and I have done some really fun things in our life outside of just our own corporate team building things. So it's important to organize regular team building activities or events to strengthen bonds among team members by creating opportunities for team members to socialize and connect outside of work related tasks. Trust and camaraderie are nurtured, enhancing overall team dynamics. And those big, audacious goals get
Yeah.
met when teams love each other and support each other and
And
respect
I
each other.
absolutely. And I know people are going to freak out going, I don't want to hang out with the people that I work with. Like, I don't like everybody. And I don't need to do that. We're in sales. I want to just stay on my island and do my own thing. I get that. I've been part of those teams too, where I'm like, oh, I don't really click with anyone here. That, but the reality is that you are part of a team. And again, you're only as good as the collective group is, right? And so it's so important to figure out how to get past any pain points you might be having about doing team bonding events. They do them for a reason. They work. They really, really work. You learn more about someone else if you're, doing skeet ball somewhere and having a beer than just sitting across someone in a boardroom every day, right? So yeah, they work.
Yeah. Yeah, they do work.
Yeah, LaDonna, do you have any crazy team building stories of things that you've had to go do?
Well, it's so funny is I've worked in organizations that haven't done a ton of that. Like really.
Oh,
I mean, like
yeah,
I do. I mean, like you guys just went inner tubing, and
yeah.
I mean, I
It's
can't think
crazy
of.
in tech sales.
Yeah, we don't do as much of that, which I'm going to encourage us to do more of that.
Hmm.
We did one event where we stayed at Skamania Lodge, and we did some kind of fun, but it was really individual. Like some people went to play golf and some people.
Yeah,
So in my career, I haven't had any like really, which I mean, this is great to say this out loud, right? Because we need more of this
yeah,
in what I do. I mean, really, I have some fun things I've done personally to invest in that. What about you, Ange? What are some fun things that
yeah. So I worked for one of the largest cybersecurity companies in Oregon back in the day, and they prided themselves on fun. They really, really did. So there was everything from like we had tricycle racing in the building one day. They had a little cocktail thing come around. But one of the fun things that I did with the team was we did that. I don't even know what it's called, but it's that pedal bike where you have like 8 people on a bike and you're drinking a beer and you're trying to ride your bike through town to like the next brewery. But the funny part about that is everyone's all in at the beginning. We're all pumping. Everyone's riding the bike. It's fantastic. But then you get to the second brewery and then half the people start moving and there's a little bit of a motor on those, but you really still have to pedal to get where you're going. And I'm in the back going like, I'm just trying to be a good team player. Like, just keep pedaling, Angie, just keep pedaling. And then we get to the third one and like hardly anyone's pedaling anymore. And I was like sweating. I thought, okay, this team bonding event sucked. this is not how I wanted it to go. But yeah, I know there's been in tech sales, I think we're so headstrong on so many things that we do need that release. But so we do a lot of things often. Most recently, you're right, I did just go tubing in Utah with our team, and it was a blast. But I think you and I, if you're not part of a corporate team that pays for this and does this, you and I have actually paid to be part of a team building event. Do you want to share what we did? That's wild.
Yeah. We went, Angie and I invested in a trip to Greece and went to a retreat, and it was empowerment. It was sales empowerment, leadership empowerment, creative thinking. It was really cool. It was all kinds of different things. It was so fun. But we did a team building event where we rented ATVs, and collectively the teams split up, and it was getting to from point A to point B on Mykonos Island. It was like, who was going to get there? How were they going to? No, we didn't split up intentionally, right? The goal was that the whole group get there at the same time, and then go and kind of, it was just fun to watch how people assumed leadership roles or didn't assume leadership roles, and how some of us, I mean, if you've ever ridden an ATV, a four-wheeler on an island, I mean, it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy. And we got split up, and then we had to map ourselves to get to this, it was a resort, a restaurant and resort that we were all going to. It was fun. It was really cool. And it was a little scary. And I mean, I've ridden ATVs and it was a little unnerving, right? You're on this island with all these cars and they're going fast, and then we're like not sure where we're going. And that was probably, for me, the craziest team building thing I've done.
Yeah. I think for the paid events, that definitely, going to Greece, and we traveled separately. So that's something I want everyone to know too. Just the courage that we both had as women who have never been abroad by ourselves to travel from Oregon to Athens to Mykonos by ourselves was a big deal. You know what I mean?
And we intentionally did that. We were going to fly together. We were going to travel. We were going to travel together, and we both decided that we wanted to challenge ourselves to travel internationally alone. I'm so thankful I did. Thankful I did. It was amazing. It was amazing.
I know. It was a fun time for sure. I was definitely one of the leaders on the ATV where I just took charge and was like, come this way. And then of course we were the first ones there. So I'm not tooting my own horn, but I do know directions. But it was a lesson, in team building. It was a lesson of, did I need to be the one to take the lead? Could I have made sure that all of my team members were able to come at the same time, so there was not a group that got split up, right? So when you look back and you assess like, everything was fine and positive, but it's like, I could have learned from some leadership skills that day. So team bonding events definitely can help you out. Building rapport and trust externally, techniques for establishing rapport with potential clients and partners. We want to make sure to touch on that. So building trust through authenticity, transparency, and reliability. And we talk about this a lot on our podcast. Be you, say what you do, and do what you say always. Like, that's a rule of thumb, always. If you can always do that, then it'll be great. Leveraging networking opportunities to expand professional relationships. How do we do that? Again, we've talked about this before. Be genuine. Authenticity is key. So focus on building real relationships. Listen by prioritizing. You're listening over talking. You can really help understand people's needs. Provide value to other people. Look for ways to help others within your network. Not all about me. It's about helping you. And then, of course, utilizing online platforms, engaging with professionals on platforms like LinkedIn, attend events. So all you introverts out there, you got to get out. If you want to build rapport and trust, you got to get out of your shell. Make an effort to attend some industry gatherings for face-to-face connections. Follow up. The fortune is in the follow-up. So send personalized follow-up messages after networking interactions. And nurturing relationships. Stay in touch regularly to strengthen connections over time. And the easiest way to do all of this is to join associations and groups. Really participate in your professional groups to expand your network. So from an external perspective, that's really how you can help build relationships and rapport.
Yeah, right. If you get involved in associations, I'm going to speak to this because I like to think of myself as being extroverted, but I'm kind of an introverted extrovert. Like I'm not as social as Angie is. Like Angie is a master at working a room. It's really fun to
Oh,
watch.
thank
Yeah,
you.
yes, it's
It's an
really
art
fun to watch.
form.
It is an art form, and you're really, really good at it. And although I like to connect with people, I'm better on a one-on-one. When I get into a large room, large events, I get a little squirrely. I'm distracted by all of the conversation. I mean, there's a number of different things that happen for me, which creates a bit of anxiety in those situations. And I used to mask that by having a cocktail, and I don't drink. I haven't had anything to drink in 10 years. And so social interaction can be a little bit more challenging for me, although I've overcome a lot of that and I still force myself out of my box to do those things because I am in sales. It's important to be a part of that. When I join organizations and get involved in the organizations, it makes it easier for me. Like I'm on the board for IIDA. So we're running an event. I'm participating in helping make this event happen. It's very different than going into the room with just a ticket and I'm there with some friends or a few people I know in a big room of a lot of people that I don't know because I'm in a territory that's newer to me. So when you can get involved in joint organizations, then you start to sell to your friends because you're helping them in their organizations that are benefiting their needs, which makes it easier. So I can speak to that because that does make it easier. When I first started working in sales, I realized that building rapport with clients was essential for success. I had a particularly memorable experience with a client who initially seemed hesitant and guarded during our interactions. Instead of driving straight into the sales pitch, I took the time to genuinely connect with them on a personal level. You can't always just immediately sell to someone, and as much as oftentimes our management wants us to do that or leads us to do that, I think it's important to recognize that maybe we need to quantify a little bit before we just come in with a bag of goods that we're selling. I asked about their interests, their hobbies, and even shared some lighthearted anecdotes about myself. And read the room. You can't do that with all people, right? Get good at trusting your intuition and understanding people, and that takes time sometimes, and that takes intention. It takes learning and reading, and I mean, like that's a skill set in itself that as a sales rep, it is very important for you to be mastering if you're not strong at that. Because read the room. Like I wouldn't have done that with someone that was looking at their clock, and I mean, it was very clear that I couldn't. I mean, there are some people that it's more challenging to build a rapport with.
Yeah.
So it helped, though, break the ice and establish a genuine connection based on our mutual interests and experiences. As our conversation progressed, I noticed that the demeanor became more relaxed and receptive. By the end of our meeting, not only had we discussed business matters, but we also had built a rapport based on trust and understanding. This experience taught me the power of authenticity and empathy in building meaningful relationships with clients, ultimately leading to successful sales outcomes and long-term sales. I found success in this genuine approach multiple times. I'm going to say that again.
Yeah.
I found success in that multiple times. It isn't like I don't have a sales tactic. I go in and I read the room. I'm good at figuring out where I'm at with my client, even if they're new, and assessing how to approach and when to approach. And it may be that that's not the meeting to share product. It may be that that's not the meeting to share the solution, that it's hey, let's reconvene. Let's get back together in a few weeks. Now that I have some things in my bucket that I know you need, let me go back and let me come back with some things that I feel like could serve you. So really take the
Yeah.
time to uncover those needs and present solutions at a later time with core discovery, when core discovery is made.
Yeah. And I think that's true. I mean, and again, in corporate, right? Shifting behaviors, we are pushed to like get the message, get the message, get the message, get the message out, right? Have you gotten the message out? And you have to be intentional about things. There are a time and place to get the message out where it's effective. You don't want to just be a robot and get the message out because you're not being effective in your sales strategy. And so I do agree with you 100% is, building that rapport up and reading the room and reading the person that you're coming to present to. You can tell really quickly they're either going to retain it and get it or they're not. So don't waste your energy. Say, hey, is this still a good time? I'm going to do a high level of our information today. What's troubling you, right? And maybe just have that, humanize that process. And you and I've talked about that before, selling with humanity, right? You have to be able to treat people like humans, and building rapport and trust is the legitimate foundation, I feel, of selling, honestly.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. Well, this was a super short topic for us today. We kind of touched on a lot of things as far as networking. And I know that we've done a customer service episode as well that kind of touched on rapport and trust. But so as we're wrapping up today's episode on the importance of building rapport and trust in sales, we really hope that you guys have gained valuable insights and practical strategies to enhance your approach out in the field. So remember, cultivating genuine connections with clients is not just a tactic, but a true fundamental element of successful salesmanship. So as you all embark on your sales journey, we're going to encourage you to implement the strategies we've discussed into your own sales efforts. Let us know how it goes, whether it's actively listening to your clients, providing value at every opportunity, or fostering authentic relationships. These practices will undoubtedly elevate your sales game and set you apart in the competitive landscape, like LaDonna mentioned earlier. So thank you guys for tuning into the SalesSheros podcast. As always, stay inspired, stay empowered, and keep championing excellence in sales. So until next time, happy selling.